Guys, Marzingan here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so today we are going to do the team building guide for the STR KEFLA EZA. This will be releasing on the global side of the game. By the time this video goes up, it will be coming out in 7.5 hours. This video is going to go up at 11 PM UK time, and the AZA comes out at 6:30, so 7.5 hours from now. It's 10:30 PM PST, basically the same time the Rose banner came out, right? Like the usual time that events come out on JP. This will be coming out. I've done a private server showcase for her already. Go check that out. She is crazy good, so looking forward to getting her and all of the sub EZAs and then trying out Kale's team with all these new buffs. But we're going to go ahead and do the team building guide for her EZA. It is a typical 30-stage EZA. There's no page on the wiki to show for it just yet, but typical 30-stage EZA. You get all the medals, you get 11 STR Grand Kais, there'll be missions, which will get you a couple of extra stones, you get like 34 stones in total. Now, when it comes to the units, as you get further through the event, we know that in these EZA events, certain units start to get massive amounts of damage reduction of a certain typing. So all physical units are pretty much useless in this event in terms of doing damage. They will be getting the massive damage reduction. And then when it comes to extreme STR and int units also get the massive damage reduction. So if you're going to run any extreme units, in order for them to actually do damage, they need to be extreme AGL or extreme tech. And then, yeah, no physical units, super or extreme, otherwise we'll be able to do damage, right? So we're not going to focus on any units like that, but we are going to go through. The special category is tournament participants. So if you are someone who did summon for the androids and get them on global, you're going to have the much wider net with their leader skill that covers anyone in the category. But of course, there are a bunch of other units you can use and a bunch of other different ways you can put that team together. So as always, with my team building guides, we will go through my top picks and honorable mentions for how to build a team to get this event done as easily as possible. If there's any units you think I missed out or should have talked more about, do let me know down below in the comment section. And of course, if you find the guide helpful at all, do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, jumping straight in, of course, we have the androids themselves. They lead tournament participants. They also give the extra 30% to reps of Universe 7 or join forces. So if you want to go for the full sort of Universe 7 build for them, obviously they're going to be very strong, giving a lot of support, giving the 200% leader skill to the team. They just will be a very, very good unit. The downright #1 leader that you want to use, because they cover the entire team and it gives you a lot more freedom when it comes to team building. They're also supporting tournament participants allies. So regardless of how you build the team, they're giving support to all of those characters. And then if you have a Goku on rotation and they get their unit super, they're giving the 2-turn 35% support, which means they're buffing the next rotation as well. So if you did summon for them on global, I mean, you know, you summon for them, you want to be using them, this is the perfect place, right? They will be the ideal leader for this team. Now, if you're not going to use them, we have a few other options, of course. Now, interestingly, it's funny going through a lot of these Universe 7 characters who are getting EZAs on JP, but don't have them on global yet. But of course, the AGL UI Goku leads Miraculous Awakening or reps of Universe 7. Regardless of the fact that he doesn't have his EZA on global and is pretty outdated in terms of the more difficult content in the game, when it comes to stuff like EZAs, he's still going to be perfectly usable, right? He has a 70% chance to dodge. He has type advantage. He'll be able to do pretty well through this event. Maybe if he gets hit by a super in stage 30, he might take some damage, but having the type advantage definitely helps for that as well. And of course, leading reps of Universe 7 means you can just load the team up with the other units of that category and then bring a friend in androids, and then that team will work together very nicely. So this guy could be a pretty good sub leader, or will just be good on the team. Even if you're running the androids themselves, probably worth just putting this guy on the team for the 200% lead, the dodge chance, and then he should still be pretty good. And of course, his counterpart, whilst not good as a leader, because he just leads Realm of Gods, although you could put on the UI Gokus, Vegeta, that sort of thing, he's going to make a very good link partner for the AGL UI Goku, and exactly in the same sort of boat, he doesn't have his EZA on global yet, but even without his EZA, these Extreme Z Battle events aren't really difficult enough that he's going to be getting absolutely destroyed left, right, and center. Like I say, maybe super attacks in the later phases are going to be doing damage to him, especially for this guy because he's type neutral and not an AGL unit. But that rotation is still going to be able to carry and do pretty good damage, clear through the event quite quickly for the earlier stages. So definitely still worth considering. Then we have the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta that transforms into Blue Evolution. This guy is actually a pretty good option for a leader for the team because his leader skill is Pure Saiyans, 3 key and 170. So depending on what combination of characters you have, like there's a lot of units that we're going to mention in this guide who won't necessarily be on each other's team builds. Like for example, one of the characters we'll talk about soon is Tech World Tournament Goku, 23rd World Tournament Goku, right? He's a Pure Saiyan, but if you're not running the androids to run all Tournament of Power allies, let's say you're running all tournament participant allies. Let's say you are running AGL, LR, UI Goku. He only leads Reps of Universe 7 or Miraculous Awakening, so that Tech 23rd World Tournament Goku isn't on his team. Whereas for this Vegeta, if you're not able to run an actual tournament participant's leader skill, there's a lot of Pure Saiyans that fit onto that category. And of course, this guy has type advantage. He gets the extra attacks as well. Like he can be very solid on the team, regardless of whether you're trying to run him as a leader or not. He could definitely be very, very useful. And then, of course, we have Kaioken Goku. He's probably, I would say, the go-to after the androids if you're looking to run a team that is mostly the Universe Survival Saga characters. Because not only does he have Reps of Universe 7, but he also has Universe Survival Saga. So if you want to run any of the Universe 6 Saiyans or Hit or anything like that, they'll be on his leader skill. And then, of course, you'll still be able to run a friend in androids so that everybody on the team is getting that lead and getting the buff from the friend androids. And of course you're able to build the team with the Universe Survival Saga allies, with the Reps of Universe 7 allies as well. That covers up the difference if you are running those older UI Gokus without their EZAs and they start to take a little bit of damage in the later phases. That then opens you up to the ability to just use the Spirit Bomb with the EZA Kaioken Goku and just absolutely destroy the boss with that, like all the crazy power that turn can generate. So I think the Reps team is one of the better ways to go. Even if you don't have the androids, this guy's probably a go-to leader, and then that team will be very, very effective. Then, of course, we did mention the Universe 6 Saiyans a little bit. There is, of course, Kale. She leads Universe 6 or Transformation Boost. So a few of the Reps of Universe 7 characters obviously won't be on her leader skill. But if they are on Transformation Boost, then obviously they get the 200% for being on Universe Survival Saga. You could build a full Universe 6 team with this Kale. She's getting a lot of buffs, of course, from this Kefla EZA and then all the sub-EZAs. So it's kind of... I didn't want to include them in the team building guide if they needed their EZAs to really be useful here, but they could still be pretty good. I mean, one of the units on Kale's team that's going to be very good for this event specifically is going to be LR, Kale, and KEFLA, because they have type advantage. There's a Universe Survival Saga enemy, so they're getting additional supers guaranteed. They build up as they go, not just defense, but also dodge chance. So these guys very, very good. Even if you're running the Int Androids as lead or the Kaioken Goku, having a rotation of Kale and KEFLA, if you have them, will be very, very good in this Extreme Z battle for sure. And then out of the sub-EZAs that are coming with the this Extreme Z battle event, the Tech KEFLA will still be very, very useful in this event before you finished it to get the medals to actually like EZA her, because there's a Universe Survival Saga enemy, which means she has a 100% chance to dodge against this Kefla. She's not going to be doing a lot of damage against her, but she's going to be dodging all of her attacks, which in these Extreme Z battles, especially if you're struggling a little bit later towards the end, is super, super beneficial, because you just put her in this slot where the most attacks are and she can't take any damage. So you're just good to go, right? So very, very good. So then, of course, we have 23rd World Tournament Goku, who we already mentioned. Now, if you want to run him as a leader, Earthbred Fighters obviously covers basically all of the Gokus. There's also like the AGL LR Gohan, who's on Earthbred Fighters and is a tournament participant because the Cell Games counts. He's also on Battle of Fate, so that would be 200% lead for him. So this guy can be pretty good. He guards for the first turn. He builds up by getting hit. So he can be very, very strong. Like, he's a unit that was in contention for best TUR when he came out. As harder content came out, he kind of needed to start relying on other units to get their revive to like charge him up to full power. But in something like an Easy A event, which isn't super hard, he will be very, very good and definitely put in a lot of work. And like I said, when we were talking about the Vegeta, he's a pure Saiyan. He fits on a bunch of these other team builds because of the categories that he's on, right? He's not going to fit on a team that's fully built around Universe 7 or like Universe Survival Saga. But that's why the androids, of course, it's always best to have a leader for an Easy A that is just the whole category, because then you can splash in units like this guy who don't really fit well on other leader skills, but of course is a tournament participant, so he can be very strong here. Then we have the Krillin, who is of course his side banner unit. If you do have both of them, then running the two of them together as a rotation is really good. Krillin is a super good slot 1 tank. He's supporting Goku. They share some decent links. So if you want to run Goku on the team, having these two as a rotation definitely works very well. There's a lot of interesting, like say you're running the androids as the lead, right? So you can run any units you want. There's a couple of interesting pairs that you can run, right? Like we've already said, Kale and Kefla, or the Tech Kefla, 23rd World Tournament Goku and this Krillin, the two UI Gokus. But if you're running the double androids lead, you can run or any of those combos on the either rotation, right? You could have one rotation be 23rd World Tournament Goku and Krillin, while the other rotation is both the UI Gokus, and that will work really well in this Easy A. So I mean, it's why they always do this, right, with these Easy A's. I know this technically isn't part of the Android celebration, although I guess it's part of the Rosé celebration, but we're still kind of in the part 2 of the Android celebration. But they always make these Easy A's be the categories that they wanted you to pull the new unit, right? So if you did summon for the Androids, you are going to have a very easy time. But as you've seen, there's a lot of different builds you can make. We mentioned the AGL LR Gohan. He does have Kamehameha or Super AGL as a leader skill. So if you're really stuck for a lead, you can make a team with him. But he will be very good, right? He has guard, he can do additionals, he builds up. You won't be able to transform with him in this event. There's nothing really, anything he does here that's like super crazy compared to other units. But he'll just be a very, very solid AGL unit that will link well with some of the other units on the team. So he's a very good option for the team as well. Then we have the AGL Pycon. So this guy's very interesting because he supports the team. He can dodge. He's a bit outdated for the more difficult content, but in a situation like this, where he's also got type advantage, he could definitely be very good. He's a unit that once you've got those main rotations built and set up, you can just throw this guy in as like the 6th choice for the team, and he can just be a floating support unit and gas up everybody else. So he definitely is a good honorable mention here. Then we have the Skinny Boo, or the Shape Up Majin Buu. This guy, I can't wait for him to get an Easy A, because he was like a go-to for Super Battle Roads and Easy A's for such a long time, because he has 300% attack and defense for the first couple of turns, as well as a 50% chance to dodge. So he can be a very strong option on this team as another AGL unit that can just kind of be there. He's another rep of Universe 7 if you're building the team with like UI or the Kaioken Goku. So he's a very good honorable mention as well, I think. We also have the LR, the Ribrienne, Rosie and Kakunsa that just came out. If you did pull for them, obviously they are on the team. They have special pose or power of wishes, so I think you can make a lead with them, but it's probably not the best. Because you have the tournament participant allies on the team, they're going to get all their orb changing, their extra buffs. They can be decent, right? Like I did the 55% showcase for them, and they were hitting numbers that were a little bit higher than I expected. So if you did get them, then obviously they'll be very good in this Easy A as well. But I wouldn't say they're even necessarily a must run depending on the build that you are running, especially because they are literally the newest yellow coin LR. I know most people didn't summon for them anyway, so they can be useful if you have them. Then we have this Goku and Gohan as a bit of an honorable mention because they lead Super Saiyans or Goku family. So of course we've already mentioned a ton of Goku family characters, so you could build a lead with them if you need to. Of course Easy A's don't have anything like AoEs, so these guys after they super, they do have their dodge chance. You're never going to be going long enough in the event to get to see Gohan come out, but these guys are, you know, an honorable mention or maybe like a last resort leader if you absolutely have to. Then we have the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan that got his EZA, the World Tournament unit. He's just a very good floating slot 3 character. So if he fits on the leader skill and you're running AGL tech, well, ideally no physical units, right? If you're running a bunch of AGL and tech units and you have this guy, you can have him as a nice little 3rd slot floating support unit. He can make the other rotations hit a lot harder, especially if you are running like tech 23rd World Tournament Goku, AGL UI Goku, or that rotation of like AGL Kale and Caulifla. This guy giving them a bunch of extra support in slot 3 is going to be very beneficial for them. And then last but not least, I thought we'd give our boy Tech Hit an honorable mention if you are running the Universe 6 team. He's just a unit that will be able to do some pretty decent numbers, not going to be anything too crazy, but if you're running Kale's lead, I think he's definitely an honorable mention. So if we look back to tournament participants, you know, units like the GT Juniors and like the Trunks and Goten, obviously not crazy anymore, but being type advantage LRs, they could be quite useful. Same with this Goku and Gohan, I guess, if you are running other Super Saiyan characters like the LR, AGL Gohan, or the STR Goku and Gohan. Goku and Frieza, of course, if you're running a Reps of Universe 7 team. Blue Evolution Vegeta, like, without his EZA, he's not as valuable as like the UI is, but he could still be pretty decent. We didn't touch on the physical characters. And then Extreme, all the LRs are the ones that would not be doing any damage. In terms of Extreme units, you've got like the AGL Cell, but none of the rest of the team really fits around him. AGL Hit from the World Tournament, but if you're going to run a Hit, you can't run same name units in an EZA. Ideally, you run the tech one. We could have mentioned Frost, as much as he's kind of mid. He does support Transformation Boost for 30%, which a lot of characters on this team will be on. If you are running the 23rd World Tournament Goku and the World Tournament units, you could run the free-to-play Jackie Chun. He's pretty good. Universe 6, if you're running that build with Kale, we obviously have Tech Kale and Caulifla. The Tech free-to-play Kabe is pretty decent. I didn't mention STR Kale because she's not as good as Tech Caulifla before her EZA, but she can still be very useful on this team. STA Kabe, obviously we don't have the EZAs for the 50% supports yet, so he's not as good. And then we didn't touch on any physical units. So I think we went over most of the units that I think would be the best. Shane Piccolo is in and gets the massive damage reduction. Otherwise, he'd be super good on this stage. But there you go. Those are the top picks and the honorable mentions for the Kefla EZA. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. Like I said, if there's any units you think I missed or I should have talked more about why they would be good for this particular event, let us know in the comments section. And of course, let me know down there in the comments what team build you will be running for the Kefla Extreme Z battle. I will be live streaming when the event comes out and we'll go through the stages together and then start showing her off in some events. Like I said, I did do the private server showcase of her being out early, but once we've done all the sub EZAs and everything, we'll be taking a proper look at how Kale's team is looking after all these EZAs, because that team should be very, very good now with all of these buffs. So let me know all your thoughts down below. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been The Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.